Tengai wants your next job interview to be with their AI avatar. The spin-off robot company Tengai is to launch the world's first recruitment avatar and promises to give everyone an honest chance at the dream job, without the risk of being ghosted. But are AI recruits what the world needs when the headlines scream alert, alert, alert? Tengai CEO Elinor Berg-Martinsen says that the timing is absolutely right. For Break It, she talks about if HR should feel threatened and why you shouldn't force diversity. Do you rely on your charisma and firm handshake when looking for a job? Then you may risk being overlooked in future job interviews. Tengai is the company that wants to revolutionize the recruitment process with an AI app that promises to level the playing field between the charmers and the initially slightly more socially awkward. In addition, there is the potential to create a more inclusive labor market in the long run when gender, age and ethnic origin no longer matter. That's what Elinor Berg-Martinsen says. She is CEO of Tengai, which in 2019 was spun off from the recruitment company TNG. The company received media attention the same year when the company's open-minded robot carried out its first recruitment in Upplandsbro, and it was Anders Orn who got the advertised position in the municipality. Now the robot's abilities have been compressed into an app, with what the company says is the first recruiting avatar in the world, which will be launched this spring. The technological adaptation has skyrocketed during the pandemic, says Elinor Berg-Martinsen. She says that the pandemic played into the company's hands, when companies still needed to recruit staff but were still not allowed to meet the candidates for physical meetings. We are well in the time with the metaverse, and when you think about the younger generation that is growing up now that wants a process on the candidate's terms. How does it happen then? Tengai does not completely replace the physical meeting, but automates the competence-focused interview and allows hundreds of candidates to have the same experience and chance to show what they can do. The candidates answer, for example, how they solve problems in a workplace or how they cooperate in a group. The AI service provides direct feedback and can assess how the candidates match the advertised position. In short, a large amount of data is collected, which means that the employer does not make their decisions based on a confident first impression, that handshake, a gut feeling, or based on their own ability to determine a candidate's competence. The social interaction in an interview then, doesn't it matter? Often it is the case that we have to bow and stand with our hat in hand and you are judged on a firm handshake, or that you maintain good eye contact. But there is no basis in the research for it playing any role in how you will perform afterwards, says Elinor Berg-Martinsen. She often returns to Tengai being on the candidate's terms. Many have probably at some point felt ghosted in a recruitment process. No email dims into the inbox. You understand that you didn't get the job, but you don't know why and what you could have done better. Tengai wants to remedy this by giving candidates immediate feedback on their answers. This is better than any context where there are many candidates. As a candidate, you often get nothing if you don't belong to the percentage that goes on. Here, all candidates are included. I don't think you should try to force a diversified workforce. Gender, ethnicity and age are stripped away. The focus is entirely on competence. Elinor Berg-Martinsen says that in the long run, Tengai will lead to more women, and more people with a diversified background getting the chance. That is the feedback that Tengai receives from its customers. But if you specifically look for diversity in a workplace, and see it as a competence, isn't it a risk when that factor is not included in the process? I don't think you should try to force a diversified workforce in, says Elinor Berg-Martinsen, and continues. In the long run, if you work based on an objective method, you get a diversified workforce. If you think you can take a shortcut to diversity, then it is not certain that you will get the best team. Technology cannot solve all of one's problems, she says. If you are faced with candidates whose uniformity goes in one direction, you should ask which candidates the position is exposed to. She urges companies to review why they do not have a diversity of candidates applying for the workplace. It's about working on issues like address and where to advertise. Is it on forums where it's mostly white middle-aged men? Not a threat, an opportunity. Tengai is a SaaS solution, so the companies subscribe to the recruitment avatar. The company already has customers who have been involved in developing the service, but has several new bubblers on the way. In addition, several well-known brands are linked to the launch this spring. To a question about whether HR personnel should feel threatened, the CEO replies, "I wouldn't say threats, rather an opportunity to focus on the human encounter at the end of the process." It is hardly anyone who has missed that it is notice that has been the word on everyone's lips in recent months. But investing in a recruitment service is still the right time, says Ellen Oberg-Martinsen. You want to recruit with greater cost control, and Tengai is a way to streamline the entire process. She sees that Tengai can play a decisive role when industries raise the alarm about skills shortages while there are unemployed people who cannot be matched with employment. The fundamental thing must be that you have the right tools to assess what everyone can do. Has gone straight. The CEO points to the need for a change in behavior, which tends to be of the tougher kind. We still believe that we as individuals are better at judging than technology. But it is better if we as humans use our analytical ability based on data, then it is a completely different matter. Then you have the right kind of decision-making basis, she says. We use so much data today. We trust economic paragraphs and calculations, but this seems to be a sore thumb even though there is really no difference on a graph that selects candidates. The CEO says that Amazon's recruitment tool is a bad example of how AI can be used. It was technology that rested on old beliefs and the result was disappointing. The AI usually discriminated against female candidates. You cannot use old data in new technology. That's why investments like this have previously gone well. Tengai has raised capital several times since its inception, and in January raised 5 million Swedish krona in a directed issue to Poyab and another 5 million Swedish krona to existing shareholders, including Traction Invest and key people. We believe we are only at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this type of product. All capital has gone into developing the service and now the company is accelerating in sales and marketing, says Ellen Oberg-Martinsen, who does not rule out that they take in additional funding to support the company's expansion plans. We believe we are only at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this type of product. We see that the need globally is great and if we can do something to reach out faster, to reach such a window, then we can choose that path. Tengai's turnover in 2021 was close to 930,000 Swedish krona, a decrease of 37% from the year before. Operating profit came in at -6.4 million, which can be compared to -7.3 million in 2020.